All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going over the PowerPoint presentations for Murachs, HTML5, and CSS3 3rd edition for the AWD Application and Web Development 1000 Web Technologies class. And I've reached the end. I'm up to Chapter 19 of 19. And in this chapter, we learn how to deploy a website, also referred to sometimes as making the website go live. So the idea is probably when you created your website, you did it on your own machine. And now we're going to take that and move those files over to an actual server so that anyone with an internet connection can go to the site. So our two applied objectives: deploy a website to a web server that has internet access, get your website into the major search engines and directories, and our 5 knowledge objectives: explain how to get a web host and a domain name, describe the use of an FTP program for transferring files to and from a website on a web server, describe the process of testing a website after it has been deployed, describe the process for getting your website into search engines and directories, and describe 2 ways to control which pages on your site are indexed. So there are many web hosts out there. All right. So if I go out to the internet here and key in web host providers, it comes back with 4,620,000 hits. All right. And they're rated. There's all sorts of, there's the best hostings of 2018 from PC Magazine, from CNET, etc. So there are a lot of them out there. When you search for a domain name, the easiest way to they talk in here about getting the domain name you want, going out to network solutions, etc. Yeah, you can do that. But if I go out, let's assume for a second, all right, my name is Jeffrey Paul Scott, and let's assume that I wanted jeffreypaulscott.com. One way to search for it is to just go in and type in jeffreypaulscott.com. And notice it says the site can't be reached, which probably says that domain name is available. All right. Now, that's a very cheap, down and dirty little test, but usually it'll ring true. So once you've created your website on your machine and you want to go and move it over to an actual web server, all right, you use a product that's called Filezilla. All right. So if you look in here, and let's assume for a second, trying to think of a fast way to do this. Let's see. If you remember a lot earlier, what did we do here? We had, I don't want this. This is Murachs stuff itself. The accordion. It's the email list again. I don't really want that one. This is script. There was that form one. I don't know what we ended up putting into that form. I know we moved it. We changed it to a JavaScript example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse course from what I did before. That is, I'm going to do this, and comment this out, and uncomment out all my form stuff. All right, so I'm going to put all that stuff back in there. I'm going to put all this form stuff back in here. So I don't need, that was the JavaScript stuff that I put in. All right, so there's all my form stuff. And I should be able to just remove this. So let's see what I've got. All right, if I do a run and I launch it in Chrome, that's what it looks like right now. I've got to get rid of this. But the rest of it doesn't look too terrible. All right, so let's get rid of that first thing that was up there. There it is. Double check and make sure it looks the way we want it to look. Pretty good. Again, it's not at all fantastic, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do here on this form, I'm going to do a file, save as, and I'm going to quickly create a folder on here. And the folder is going to be called deploy example. All right? And I will put that form file there. Now there should also be, hopefully, did this have a CSS file with it? No, the CSS was all done in here. So I'm going to pull out the CSS. And I don't need these style tags anymore. Notice that without the CSS, this starts to look really bland. See that? Not very good, really. Oh, I guess that is the same way that it looked before, but I didn't save. So let me save and then try it. So this is that same file with no CSS. All right, looks a lot different. So I'm going to go back in here, create a new file, paste this in, and I'm not going to worry. I'd like to move all that stuff over, but it's fine. I'm going to save this in my deploy, but I'm going to put a CSS folder in here, and I'm going to call this deploy, try it again, D-E-P-L-O-Y, we'll just call it deploy.css, that's fine. There it is. Okay, now I've got to go back to the file that I had, which is my form one here, and I've got to go and add that CSS to it. So link rel equals style sheet href equals css slash deploy.css. Now let's see if I've got it back. This should now look the way it did before. Okay, and you notice that it does. All right, so now what I'm going to do is this. And this will be interesting because I'll probably have to stop for a minute because I'm not, in fact, I'm going to pause the tape for just a second, and I've got to go check on my password for something. So I'll be back in just a moment. All right, well, I'm going to try something here. And if it doesn't work, I'll be a little embarrassed, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Filezilla. All right, and the host will be IWT. Oops, I don't need to install that. That's fine. Will be IWT.rankin.edu. The username, I think I'm JP Scott. My password, I just looked up. The port is 21. Could not connect to server. That isn't good. The entered password starts or ends with a space character. It should be the right password. Doggone it. IWT Rankin. I thought I was JP Scott. I don't think I'm J Scott. Oh, try this. So let's check out, make sure here that, yeah, I might have been in uppercase. So let me try that again. All right, I'm logged in. Now what I want to do is I want to grab that folder that I had here under my desktop. And what did we call that? Deploy example. I'm going to grab it and just drag it over to here. That's all I'm going to do. It says transfers are finished. All right, now I'm going to see if I can get to that from the internet. So it will be iwt.rankin.edu/jpscott/deploy example. Forbidden access is denied. Well, that isn't good. What did I call that file? Did I call it index or did I call it deploy.html? Nope, it's not found. So let's double check. It's form.html. Okay, I'm sorry. Form.html. And there it is. All right, so you can see now that when I go out to, well, I guess you can't see it from there. Now when I go out to iwt.rankin.edu/jpscott/deploy-example/form.html, this is now live and on the internet, so anybody can go out and take a look at it. Okay? All right, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you here. So I've got into Filezilla, put in the host name, which for us is iwt.rankin.edu, put in my username, put in my password, the port number, which was 21, and click Quick Connect. Then it was just simply a matter of taking my folder and dragging it over there. That's known as uploading it to the server. If I wanted to, for instance, if I wanted to take this index file that's right here, and if I clicked on it and dragged it back over here, that would be downloading it. All right? Okay. So, Filezilla is an example of an FTP or file transfer protocol program. As far as the install, it's fairly simplistic. You go to filezilla-project.org, click on the download. I'd follow the instructions, and when I did it, I just accepted all of the defaults. Okay? This is their manager box. I don't even get that with what I use. I started it, went to File Site Manager, etc. Followed all this stuff, and you saw this. And then it was simply a matter of dragging and dropping. And then the website was out, and it was on the internet. So again, hopefully there's nothing in what I just mentioned to you that surprised you, took you back, or whatever. Okay? How to test a page that you've just added to your site. And so we could go in and add other pages now. Start the web browser, go to your home page, navigate to the new page. Using every route possible. Review the contents. Okay? The other thing too is I do believe that if I come over here, where I just was, right here, I think I can right mouse click and choose View Page Source, and there it all is. All right, there's my entire file that I just created. Okay. How to test a new website, methodically review all pages, test all links, go back and forth. This is the kind of thing that we will be doing after we go and create a site. I'm going to create it from scratch. I think I know what I'm going to do it on, and I'm not going to talk about it right now. All right, here's URLs for the major search engines. If you've never heard the term before, SEO, it's one you should become familiar with. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. You want to set up your website so that ideally, once you let Google and Bing and Yahoo, etc. know that you're out there, that they will come through, look at your site, and then list your site in their search engines. So for instance, if I was going to go and set up a site, let's say for, I don't know, let's say for, I was going to have my own sporting goods store that was going to, compete with Dick's. It was going to be Jeff's. I'd want to make sure that I was on the first page if at all possible. Here's the Google page for submitting your site. Now, they mention here, they talk about this robots.txt file. What happens when you submit your website to Google, to Bing, to Yahoo, etc.? What it does, first of all, it may take anywhere from a week to 3 months before they even get back to you. So you should regularly go out and see if your page, do searches on your page in those particular search engines and see if it's there yet. Okay, so there are going to be certain files you probably don't want the system to look at. Those files, typically, that you don't want the system to look at, you'll put into a file called robots.txt, and that will tell the system, the spider, as it goes through and looks at all the files in your system, just don't look at these files. They're not part of the site. They could be just ancillary files or whatever. So here is where you set this. Tells a robot not to index a page or follow its links. You can put it in robots.txt and you can put it on a page. It looks like itself. So how to control which pages are indexed. The author says here, if you don't want the robot to index the pages in a folder on the site, you can add a text file named robots.txt to the root folder. That's what I mentioned. Another way is to add a robots meta tag to the page. So there you can do it either way. How to control which pages are visited from the search results. When you delete a page from the website, it will remain in the index for a search engine until the robot for that engine crawls through the site again, maybe even longer. So in other words, if you remove a page from the site, it's still possible if people try to go out and look at that page, they'll get a broken link. To prevent users from going to a page that's been deleted, you can delete the content of the page, but not the page itself. Then you can add refresh meta tag to the page. In that tag, the content attribute should be 0 so that the redirection is done immediately so you can move them to another page. Not all browsers support this though, so you should just go in and check it out and make sure it does. Now they talk here about how to maintain a healthy website. And you look here, this is the Google Webmaster Tools website, and you can look for all sorts of things. You can find rankings on here, how many people are coming to your site, etc. A lot of different stuff. It gets into the whole topic of analytics. All right. The most popular tool for analyzing a website is Google Webmaster, which is free, web-based, and you can use it to monitor for Google crawl errors, security issues, mobile usability, missing references in the robots text file, and other things too. It can also suggest improvements to the HTML that will help you boost search engine rankings. All right, there are other ones also, and some of them are listed here. Now these last three, FreeGrader, Nibbler, and WooRank, provide basic checking for accessibility, search engine optimization, user experience, mobile responsiveness, and even more than that. And that pretty much is it. So when I come back again, what I'm planning on doing is letting you know what I'm going to do a site on. And the way I'm going to do this, just so you see it, you may or may not care, but this is a listing of all my files, etc., and where they are out on YouTube. I'm planning on changing this. I'm going to call this Let's Build a Website, but I'm going to start with chapters 18 and 19, which sounds a little weird, but I want to go back and show you how I'm going to set this site up. And that was chapter 18, how I'm going to design the site. Chapter 19, I probably won't have to go back over again. In fact, I think I can get rid of that because you all know now I'm going to put that on Rankin's website. So I'll start with 18 and then go right into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. All right? So I will be back with that shortly. Thanks.